So when we say porn, we're talking about erotic videos for the purpose of sexual consent, or as a judge once said, when you see it, you know it. Okay, we're not going to discuss about what porn is. When we're talking about feminism, obviously there's a large array of feminism, but we can draw basic things like respectful, or having the idea of consent, or different body shapes that aren't the status quo. Things that sometimes may show women, sometimes with maybe a bit more hair, but sometimes just not skinny and are aware of the situation and give consent, and maybe sometimes stop in the middle, that's fine. When we talk about subsidizing, we're talking about giving extreme amounts of money to creators and companies who specialize in those specific points according to criteria that will be examined and checked according to committee. Obviously, we're not saying that the government committee will watch every single porn video. That's not going to happen, but they will see some of those videos, and they will be able to identify according to people in the committee, like we know we can do also in culture, etc. Okay? Are there any questions for clarifications? Yes.
Can you clarify the promote part of the motion?
Promote means giving a lot of money and saying that it's okay as a government. Okay? That's pretty much it. Now I'm going to deliver three main arguments. The first one is that porn is crucial for the norms of the sexual norms that created. Second is that what porn teaches today is very harmful. And lastly, the comparative feministic porn will change the behavior. Let's start very easily with understanding why porn is so important. First, we're talking about mostly children. Children who watch at night with no supervision, without talking to other people about what they see. They don't get failed sanctions from schools or their parents or their teachers, because they don't talk about it. Okay? And they see it in a visual manner. Unlike what they study in class or hear about, when you see something, it's a lot more impactful on what you learn. All of this, we presume, is acceptable by opposition because we need to explain that it has some sort of effect. Secondly, we're saying that because they see it more often than not, it makes it normal for a plumber to get in and get paid in a different way, or for someone to be dominant via their money or prestige, and obviously to accept things. This is what I know porn is about. And the main problem here is that you can't ban it. Okay? We need to understand. You can't ban it simply because banning porn is banning internet. If you ban a specific modem, then people will find it in YouTube and will send it via WhatsApp. In order to ban it, it's very hard to criterialize where exactly does porn stop and begins, and more often than not, when you look around the world, you see that the countries who ban internet also have authorities and can justify banning other things. So we're not accepting other alternatives. The question then is, how are we going to work with this problem? So first we need to understand that there is a problem, and what porn teaches us is different things for guys and for girls. For guys, it teaches dominance, it teaches performance. Men have to be strong, they have to be big, they have to take their time. That's the only way you can skip into minute 10 and still watch something that is very interesting for you, and that's what people need. You are being examined according to how athletic you are, how big you are, and how much you are willing to do with other participants. These are the things that men are encouraged to do when see porn. And I'll remind you, most of the people who see it and get influenced accordingly are children who have this model. For women, it's different. First thing first, it teaches them the role model of how a woman should act in order to be accepted by other men, what kind of society it is, what kind of flattery is flattery, and how women, in the end, if they just allow it, they might actually have fun. And it prompts harassment. I really don't think that I need to explain why porn leads to more sexual harassment, basically because we higher and higher the level of excitement and the expectations from both men and female. So all these things are taught when they watch porn alone at night with little to none feedback from society until they behave accordingly. And a lot of the women don't even watch porn. So at a certain point, they don't even have a way to engage with men or to give any sort of feedback towards what's going on. They can be part of the discussion. How we are solving the problem. The first thing we need to understand is that both men and women will watch these feminist porn. Because we give a lot of funding and because we promote it, we assume that you will have better servers, so it will load faster. You will have better HD quality levels, so people will enjoy it. But more so, you will have more content because you'll have more groups working with more people. So you don't have to wait several nights. I'll get to it in a second. And it's less expensive to buy those things, and vice versa, to pirate those things, because more people will have it, and it can pirate in torrents, etc. So a lot of people, it will be easier for them to see, even if they don't like it the most, it's probable that they will watch it at least in the beginning. Yes, second.
So we're thinking that labeling porn as feminist will create more antagonism in guys who are watching porn because it's now labeled as feminist, anti-manly, so I will not watch it.
I like hearing your analysis about it, especially if our targeted audience is children who still don't know what feminism is or what are their faults against them. Again, people who are angry against feminists for whatever reason usually suffer from it in a way when they're a lot older than that. We're saying that it doesn't matter whether or not you think it's feminist or not, it matters whether or not it's easier for you to engage with it when you're online looking for websites. What it teaches is for men that strong women are hot and it's okay. It's also closer to the truth, and so it's very likely for them to watch the real porn, the usual porn, and the feminist porn and say, wait, but I'm not that strong, maybe I can identify myself and learn more from this new porn. It teaches consent, and what's most important, it teaches that you don't have to be such a macho in order to get what you want. What it teaches women is even more important. That it's okay to be sexual and not to be a prude or something that is frowned upon. You can be sexual and still be a feminist. It tells you that, and also it allows you to understand what men are talking about. We're saying that it's very likely that more women will watch it now that there are less barriers, and it will give them the language and the legitimacy to talk about it, to voice their opinion, to go to this committee and tell them, how are you funding this? This is not what feminism is. In the end, we're saying that on the rough level, we are helping children create better norms. But more than that, we're creating a better discussion between women and men on currently the best educator about sexuality, porn.
Just as a pre-note, this is a bit about porn, so it's about to be pretty graphical, pretty fast, so if anyone goes under I'm sorry in advance.
Hello.
So that, come on, no.
He said he was offended by
John? Okay. What OG essentially tells us is that the government is going to scream out loud from every billboard, from every promotion possible, and from every funding that watching porn is fine. What I wanted to show you, as OO, is that porn leads to more porn. There's absolutely no way to fight what kind of porn they're watching, is that it essentially leads to the opposite of what they want to achieve. Three things in this debate. Firstly, when do we subsidize something? When do we have to subsidize things and promote it? And why feminist porn definitely does not fall under that metric? Secondly, why this specific media would stop the actual message they want to send and they will only stop at watching porn is fine. And thirdly and lastly, why when the country promotes stuff and types of content that there's no demand for, the market is going to react negatively for creating a backlash. Before that, two extraneous points of rebuttal. Actually, three, the first one will be short. So the first one, they're saying, look, porn leads to more harassment overall. If that is correct, then feminist porn is a subcategory of that will promote more harassment. We don't see why that changes. We're talking about, let's talk about the second point, which is more important. Let's talk about their audience that they're talking about. They're talking about mostly children who watch porn without supervision. This is horrendous because that means that when they watch the porn, they might start off somehow in their world with the nice feminist porn, but they will, the ability to stay and move to other content is inevitable. I'll continue watching porn. The country says it's okay for me, so I shouldn't be afraid. I'll just keep doing it. And there's no supervision into what type of content I can get to, and that includes all the horrible types of porn that they're talking about. And let's talk about lastly what kind of porn they're trying to fight, because they're saying, look, we can find Pornhub. We can find every little porn in the internet. Guess what? Over 30% of the entire internet is porn. No country in the world has enough money to subsidize that type of content in order to fight it and give better service or better content. You're delusional, and there's just no way you'll be able to defeat them. What does that mean? That means that even if some kids would watch your lovey-dovey porn, they would still be exposed to all the masses of other types of porn that are still horrible by all of your metrics, which means that we're getting kids watching more porn because now there's less taboo about it because the country sends the message that it's okay. That is horrible. let's get to our substantive and to when do we subsidize things. Okay, we subsidize things under 3 criteria. A, it has to be some sort of basic product. Let's take for example bread. It's something that everybody needs, and it should cost something reasonable for the population to consume. Secondly, it has to be some sort of very basic, very huge necessity for it. Let's say medicine. Okay, it's not maybe that much of a basic criteria, but we're talking about our need for staying healthy. It's something crucial. That's why the country subsidizes that. And thirdly, lastly, we're talking about something that appeals to a wide audience. We're talking about something like education. And now OG tries to sell you this as education. The only thing that they're actually getting is that they're promoting porn. We're still not sure how the message that they want to send actually goes through. Okay, so what we're getting is that they're going to a small audience that we're not sure how they're even going to appeal to, because they have to find giants like porn dominate pretty much everything. And then they have to convince these people that their message is the correct one while they're watching porn. So let's get to that, okay? Because this is crucial. When do we watch porn, and why does that stop us from actually receiving a message while we're watching that message, okay? Because when these people want, who's watching porn, let's take the analysis we get from OG, we get mostly kids, unsupervised, they're doing it for their sexual pleasure, okay? But even if we extend that to what actually comes up in reality, most people in the world, and definitely the most male population, who is unexposed to the feminist, to the importance of the feminist struggle as it is, they're watching porn, they want to, I don't know, please themselves before they go to sleep or whatever. At some point, the minute that they're done, they'll shut off everything and go to sleep. And while they're watching porn, and this is important, if it's mostly for their pleasure, they don't care about anything else. This is something raw from within us. I just want to masturbate, I want to go do my stuff, and once I'm done, I'm done. I don't care what type of porn is in front of me, as long as it satisfies my needs for satisfaction. That means that I might get to watch these things, but I'll never get the message that they're sending. It means that I'll just watch porn as it is in a second, and then I'll just leave it as it is, and I won't be exposed to the type of ideas that OG wants to send, because to get that idea, I need to be actively aware of the situation. No. Secondly, I need to be actually be willing to get something new information stand upon me. While I'm in this one state that I just need to satisfy myself and go to bed or whatever, that's not optimal for sending any type of message, if any. I'll take it closer.
Just to be clear, so you concede that people will watch this porn and it will be good enough for them because they don't care what porn they're watching?
Absolutely not. We believe that there's no way for the country to actually compete with Pornhub, YouPorn, and 30 other % of the internet. But we're saying that even if they watch it and they'll deem it good enough, they won't be able to distinguish that from any other type of porn because they're not looking for a different message. It's just like looking for another set of boobs or ass or something to stare at and get satisfied and go to bed. I'm not looking for the story. I'm not looking for the plot. I'm looking for the guy and the girl to do what they do, get some pleasure out of it, and get done with it. That's what we're talking about here. So let's talk about lastly, what does that mean to do in reality, okay? Because the message that they're actually sending is the message being sent that is received until before I actually watch the porn, which is the promotion, which means the country is going to spend large amounts of money and advertisements on telling people, guys and girls, watch porn. Everybody checks this out. There's these huge, great erotic films, and now we're going to spend all this money on you, all your happily earned tax money. We're all going to send that into porn. That sends the message that OG is so much fearful of the status quo today that lets kids to watching porn anyway because it's out there. So if kids today, and most of the people watch porn anyways just because it's out there and they have their need of satisfaction, once the country okays it, it means that, and because they can't differentiate types of porn from one another, it means that they can't tell from the oppressive porn that leads to male dominance and more harassment and the other types of porn that are nice and whatsoever. So what we're saying is this, that the norms opposed by today's porn are so strong that it's really hard to battle both in quality and mostly in quantity. There are just amounts of porn out there, and the ability to restrict viewers only to feminist porn that will somehow get through my raw nature to actually send a message to me is highly unlikely. But what it will cause backlash. It means that a lot of people will now see their earned tax money, their stuff that they're working on, instead of being subsidized for education, instead of being subsidized for sexual ed in classrooms, for workshops in workplaces, for better training of teachers to address such matters and talk about consent, instead of encouraging discussion, you're telling people, look, once you want to please yourself, now is the time to consider the feminist struggle. And it leads to the opposite result. It leads to people resenting that. It leads to people looking at it and ridiculing it because, oh, you want to educate me through that? It's ridiculous. What we you get people completely disregarding this entire thing, and it even hinders the lack of the feminist effort outside of porn, because it will now immediately be associated by this huge promotion of the government that feminists want better porn, and that's all of their concern in the world. So what about we get really bad porn, we get bad for feminist struggle, and proud for it. Opposed.
Right. Look, on both worlds, young age children watch a lot of porn, right? I don't know any man who didn't watch like porn at least until the age of 13, 14. What we ask you is two questions. Firstly, where do we have better porn in general in the pool of videos that you might get across? And secondly, where do we educate better children to what is legitimate in society? I'm going to talk mainly about one thing in a positive. I will talk about why this will create better conversation about porn and feminism in the public sphere, and why this is good for the norms creation. And I'm going to talk about the things that Asaf said and how does this correlate with what we get from governments. So firstly, a couple points of growth. So firstly, they tell us that in general, porn is bad. We don't want to incentivize porn in general as a government just because we don't want it to see it in general. This is obviously false, because if you have consent, this is a natural instinct that people have, like a sexual harassment. We say that if it's something that teaches you what is legitimate, we think it is pretty good. Just as like I think hamburgers are bad for you, but they're also yummy and they don't hurt society if they are not like with AIDS or something inside of it. But more than that, we say that because children from young age will watch porn anyway, we need to understand what is the delta that we give you on our side. You will at least come across different types of pornos. Why is this important? Because you don't need everything to be extra feminist. You just need to realize that the norm of male dominance is not the norm, right? It's not the only thing that can be done. You also need to see respectful videos in order to understand these norms, and this affects you at young age very strongly, as Asaf is explaining to you. Secondly, they tell us, look, kids won't understand the message, and this is like the same answer. You don't need kids to understand, now I'm getting feminist context. You only need them to understand that in the bedroom, in those situations, you need to be respectful for women, and it is not legitimate to be dominant in a lot of places. We see you have this value anyway. But then we get in the PY from second and tell us, look, it will just not work because people don't want to watch feminist porn. Asaf gave you two answers to this. Firstly, it tells you, look, in young age, you don't really care about the messages, you just want to consume good porn. But more than that, it tells you, porn is a good map to change those norms in the first place. So if they tell you people have today antagonism against feminist porn, Asaf is telling you, yes, but if we have more feminist porn, then slowly, when you watch some of it, when some people change their mind, then you say, okay, this specifically is okay, and this is how you change your mind at the end, and then you don't mind if you see this. Just lastly, they give us this point that says, look, funding feminist porn means funding all porn, including bad porn. We think we can make this out pretty simply, right? We have a commission that sees which porn, which creator gets this money, and we think that is not necessarily. And if they mean, in this economical view, that we can compete with YouPorn and all those Pornhub and big companies, we say something very simple. We see that those companies like to be on the good side of people's agenda, right? We see them doing all kind of promotional things in order for people to like them and not look at them as these evil, corrupting things. So we see them doing funny videos and interviewing posters, seeing they get good conditions and things like that, which means that they have a great incentive to work together with governments in order to get this funding now. They may have a branch of specifically feminist videos, and then they tell you, look, specifically for feminist agendas, we apply to get this funding. We say also those giants can compete for that funding. Alright, let's get to the simple positive that actually gives you a delta in this debate. We said that this will change the conversation in society for the better. Why is that? When government subsidize, and we don't just subsidize, we massively subsidize and promote. And we say, this feminist porn is okay by us. This is the norm. This is important because of two things. Firstly, we say, simply when government, when an official body says something is legitimate, like when you teach it in schools, when you say in the Knesset, something is illegitimate, we say this affects what the norm is. Alright? Asaf explained to you and analyzes what is the problem problem with children when they watch it in a young age and they don't get any criticism from society. No one tells them that what they're saying is bad. We say that when an authority comes and tells you this is illegitimate and you only subsidize this has a massive effect on people. We think that this also goes down to people in the end, because not only that you hear it in the Knesset, you also get like interviews about it and conversations in talk shows, and you study it on school and things like that. These are also the things that affect the norm. But more than that, in a second, we say more than that, it creates better conversations. Why is that? First of all, and this is important, journalism in general is pretty pro-LGBTQ, feminist, and social justice and things like this, which means that we think it will be really easy for journalism in general, to support this kind of motion and present it in a positive way, right? You have the success stories of how the government sponsors this, like feminist porn. We say this is juicy articles that you can get a lot of feedback from, and you have no reason to believe that it will not be presented positively. Secondly, we say that any conversation is good, right? This idea of market of opinions. We say the mere fact that now you have conversations about it creates different opinions. I will continue in a second, but first. Yeah.
Okay. Education workshop and discussions will create a demand for better porn. Creating one video or we get swallowed in a sea of other videos will not change anything whatsoever.
I didn't fully understand what he was trying to analyze, but I think that if we have feminism porn now, and you have a demand for better porn, that you will get better feminist porn. I think this is okay. Right. So why do you get better conversation? Firstly, just because you get positive journalism on this whole reform, but secondly, just because any conversation is good. Because when you hear those people who are saying why feminist porn is bad on like the radio, and then you hear like scholars explain to them why no, actually this is a good positive change in society, we say that even if the claims are wrong and saying what feminism is bad, you also get the explanation for why they are good. We think that in the market of opinions, at the end, people will be able to judge by themselves and to decide what is good and what is bad and what is not good. In the end, we're telling you something very, very clearly. Porn, in and of itself, it is not bad. And we don't sponsor any kind of porn. We say this in general, if we have more feminist porn in the pool of porns, we have better education, we have better norms in society, we are very proud of porn.
Governments want to create a product that will somehow change the way people think about feminism and about this stuff, without explaining us how what is really going to be, what's going on the minds of the people who are going to watch this kind of porn, and what's going to happen to the people, all the people. So I'm going to reveal a little bit what is the effect of the kids that are going to do it, and especially why we will have more children in younger ages exposed to porn, and not only the feminist porn, but all kinds of porn. Okay, and then we get even worse all the problems that OG gives us about porn, of dominance and stuff like this. I'm going to explain you the effect on grown-ups, because OG tells us that only kids watch porn, which is just not true. We have grown-ups, so you need to understand what happens when you stick to the grown-ups, to their throat, a product they don't want, and they know that they are wasting money, their money on it. And then I'm going to explain why the government doesn't need to subsidize this. It doesn't goes under the criteria of subsidizing, and there is other ways to make the change they want. So all of my points are going to be like in full engagement with OG, because it's just a competitive, it's another way of seeing what will happen more nuanced. Let's talk about the kids, okay? Effect of the kids. So nowadays, before we have this, nowadays we have some boundaries that keep kids out of porn, okay? Firstly, porn is a taboo. Kids are ashamed, they know that porn is bad, the parents tell them that, and it's there. And yes, some kids watch porn, but not all the kids watch porn, and there is kids who doesn't know what porn is until later age, until they are more mature and more willing to understand and accept the concept of sexuality, okay? So we have these boundaries. What happens when the government comes and just promotes porn, okay? So now kids who didn't know what porn is will know what porn is, because the government will just promote porn, so porn will be more easily accessible and more easily understood. and now the shame is going down because like if the government talks about it, it's not such a big taboo as I thought it is. So maybe I should try it. And now it will be easier for kids to talk between themselves about this porn and to increase the exposure of kids to this kind of porn. And we understand that the younger the kid is watching porn, is less rational and less understandable about the message that porn brings. Okay, so maybe it will come for this because of this feminist porn. But as Doron already explained to you, we have so much porn. Inside porn, we have thousands and thousands of categories and thousands of things to explore. So the chances that the kid will only stay on this nice feminist porn is just it's not likely, okay? We'll get children who will see other content, who will see these degrading things to women, who will see this thing these problems, and we'll see it in younger age and in more effect. So we're getting the effect that we have more children watching more porn, more bad porn, and this is exactly what they don't want to happen. Before I continue to my second point, I will take a second.
Do you think that a 12-year-old likes to watch violent sex without consent when he goes to watch porn?
I don't understand. Can you explain to me?
Do you think that a 12-year-old that watches porn for the first time want to watch the violent porn that he
No, but the kids in 12 years old just want to see cool stuff that they didn't see before. He's curious. He wants to see like things that he didn't know, and like, oh, I saw something bad. Kids are they have some natural attraction to things they don't understand, to violence, to aggression, and if they have the ability to see it, they will try it and they will watch it. Even not all of them, a lot of them. Let's talk about the grown-ups, okay? Because the grown-ups are also a very important point in this debate. Because we need to understand that in one way, like we believe that not all like grown-ups have their porn Ergelim, I don't know how to say, and they see that it's won't be very effective for grown-ups. But even if we take the strong side of government, and that it will be in the top 10, in the top page of every porn site, will have feminist porn, we need to understand that people don't like to pay money for things they don't need, okay? Because we don't believe the effect will be very strong, but imagine what a sexy title it will be in Ynet that the government is now subsidizing porn. Okay, everybody will know that the government is spending my money, my earned money, my tax is paying money, so I will make feminist porn that I don't watch and I don't believe is true. And we need to understand that when I know that I'm paying for something I don't need and I don't want, okay, I'm getting angry. And it's very, very natural that I will get angry because I don't understand why do I need to spend this money on this stuff, okay? And when I'm angry, I'm much less willing to try and understand why do I need this feminist porn and why do I need to listen to this feminist movement. And we need to understand that this feminist movement, one of our main goals is to change the perception of grown-ups, especially male grown-ups, and this is exactly the people that will get this backlash and will get this feeling that like, okay, so I'm like I have two choices. Like if I'm not okay, never mind. I will do it in my second point. Before we continue on that first step.
Yeah, so you give a lot of subsidized money to bodies that you don't necessarily want. You give it to Gaza, you give it to arms. We say that in general, that doesn't affect what you subsidize.
Okay, so Gaza, like there is a lot of backlash about the subsidizing of Gaza, and a lot of people doesn't really understand it and want to understand what's happening to Gaza. They're just upset that we're paying to Gaza. We don't want this happening to the feminist movement. Okay, this is not a good example for your side. Let's continue and talk about why that doesn't make any sense to subsidize this thing. Okay, so we understand like how porn makes money. Most of porn makes money out of commercials. Okay, most porn on the internet is free. Okay, people don't pay for porn. Okay, so like if there is a demand, this porn will be made. If there is a demand for feminist porn, this porn will be made. So when the government tries to artificially make a product without any reason, because if there will be a reason, the porn will come. The only thing we get is a huge waste of the government money. The money could be spent on sexual education, on workshops for grown-ups to understand the feminist movement, and we only get the backlash and we get worse stuff. To conclude, in our side, we get more doctrinized children about bad porn, we get a backlash, and we get people who are just angry about the feminist movement. Very ugly to oppose.
OG gives you a brilliant case. Some porn is violent and has bad body perception, and when people watch it, they are being affected. We should stop it by giving other better porn. Okay? I'll give you two big answers. First of all, people are just not going to watch it. They want to see the violent stuff. They will see the whole thing, and people are going to start watching it when they're young and just move on to the violent stuff fast. Okay? So what are we going to do? First of all, we are going to tell you why the majority of people are going to watch our feminist porn and deal with most of our. Second, we'll tell you exactly how the porn today makes people be regular to violent porn and makes them want to see the more aggression, and how it's not going to happen in our world. And thirdly, I'm going to show you exactly how this violent porn actually causes violence in the real world that will not happen in our world. But first, a couple points about it. Look, children will see porn earlier, and then first of all, nearly every children from the age of 12 is watching porn. We really don't think there's more people to actually gather into this audience. Secondly, porn and sex is a part of our life. We really don't think that without the violence, it's a bad thing. If they want to show it, to see it, they should see it. It's good for them. Then they tell us, they start by that and moving to violent or worse porn. I will show you why it's happening today by today's science mechanism, but it's not going to happen on our world. It will be on my case. The second point, people are going to get mad because they don't want to pay for porn. First of all, porn is a lot more widely and more people are using it than most of the art and cinema that we are subsidizing today. We really think it helps more people than most of the things that we subsidize. And secondly, we have a strong message that it's against violence, against harming women. We think there will be a lot of people supporting that and helping that. We don't think it's going to make that kind of a backlash. And like the Me Too, a lot of people will actually support that. And the people are not going to listen to the lesson. There is no lesson. There is just no violence. There's just no shaming. You don't need to understand some kind of lesson. You just need not to watch the harmful thing that we have today. So we don't think people are going to do something else. So why people are going to see it? First of all, we have a lot of money. We are going to pay for the best actors with the biggest name that people look for in Google. We are going to buy the sites that actually most people are looking for. Porn.com is going to be ours, okay? So most people, when they are going to look for it, are going to see it. We are going to buy the top of the results in every search engine. The default of every person will go to our site. Third reason, we are going to use better technology. Because we have more money, we put more money on VR, on 3D, on every big technological expensive thing we can do that other sites cannot do when people will want it. Fourthly, there's going to be a lot of endorsement by celebrities, by parents, by teachers that say, go to specific those sites. Those are the sites that you're going to learn and see. And they tell us, look, but Pornhub is huge, they got lots of money, you can find it. But look, every customer that is going to our site is a customer that is not going to pay for Pornhub. It means that just by taking like 30 or 50% of the people, they have less money, so people will less want to go there because their technology is going to be worse, and they will have less tools to actually fight us. It means that in a very short amount of time, just because we are free, we are going to take them out of business, the most of them. So of course, 90% of the porn is going to be ours. So after we settle that, let's talk about violence. Because they tell us, look, people are curious, they're going to look for the violent things. We don't think that most of the people, when they start porn, when they're children, and they don't want to look and see violent porn. They don't want to see people screaming. It's scary, it's disgusting, there's fluids. We think the majority of people just want regular, easy sex that won't frighten them and not go back in the nightmares. But what's happening in today's sites? Today's sites pushes you the harder stuff. They want you to be addicted. They want you to go specific to them. So every time that you look for something, most of the results are going to be violent. Every time that you are watching a film, all of the suggestions are violent. Every time that you watch something, the autoplay just started something a bit more violent that you're seeing today. It means that when you're in the regular side, over the years, every time that you're looking, the amount of violence, the amount of shaming, the amount of aggression that you see in a movie gets bigger. And then people are starting to feel that is the regular. This is how porn looks like. Now when you give them a regular porn, they say, oh, it's boring. But when will be the bigger one? Yes, maybe the grown-ups we are not going to get. But when we get the majority of children, the majority of teens, the people who start watching porn, and they're going to see for years our porn, because they're not going to look for the crappy side that still give us the violence, okay? Then even if they will see the violent porn, they just don't want to see it. They won't want to go there. And when we actually have celebrities telling that is a bad porn that actually hurts people, you should see that one, we think that most of the people are not going to go to the worst one. So, what is the problem with the violent porn? Because OG told you that it's a consensus that when you see violent porn, you're violent by yourself. But how exactly does that happen? We're saying that a lot of the teens, okay, they don't have real sexual experience. We think that a lot of the teachers and parents don't really want to talk about the sexual experience and tell them what to do. And when they are going, we have only the violent images in their face. But we're not saying that they're starting right away by hitting or doing extreme stuff. But we think that when you see every time that it's okay to push the girl's head, even if it hurts her later. You know that it happens sometimes that you use the word alcohol, because this is what I saw in the movies. You know that even if your girlfriend says no to anal, it's still okay to push her and tell her, yes, you should do it, it's regular, we should do it. The possibility of you doing it is a lot bigger, yes.
Okay, suppose you have also billions of dollars to compete with 30% of the internet. Why spend it on something that I do alone in my bed instead of actually promoting discussion in the education system? We
are also going to do a discussion in the education system, and because, as I told you, the more people that we get, the less money we need to spend, because the competition is going to be out of business. But let's go even more, okay? It's not only a boyfriend pushing the girlfriend. When you are in a stud, when your situation and a person you don't know, then people is a lot more likely to try the more violent things, to try and push more, to try and not get consent, because they saw it every time and they want it. They don't really care if the other person might get hurt, and they don't really feel about it, okay? We think that once men are going to see our feminist porn, and once girls will have our porn, because there's going to be less taboo, because celebrities will tell them to watch them, because their parents teachers going to tell them, their ability to say, no, this is not okay. I know how sex is supposed to look like, and what you're doing to me is rape and not sex. The ability to actually stop in real time those kind of violence, the ability to stop it even before happening, is a lot stronger when our porn is the widespread, is the mainstream, is the 90% of the people who are watching, is where the teens who can actually change their mind are watching. Because of all of those reasons, please propose. Thank you very much.
This debate is pretty simple. OG comes and tells you that people will watch good porn and will be better. Oppositions comes and tell you two major things. Firstly, people are not going to watch the good porn at all. Secondly, we don't really care if porn is not really bad, or the same bad effects are going to happen anyway. This is exactly what we're answering, and my 2 points will be, firstly, what sort of porn people are going to watch, and secondly, what are the effects of those porns, and how are we fixing a lot of the bad things that does happen in our society. Before that, a lot of points of rebuttal. Because firstly, when they talk about how people get bored already and want to watch like the next thing, we don't think they are correct. Firstly, they are contradicting OO that like very clearly told us in the leader of opposition that people don't care about which porn they're watching as long as this is fun, as long as it pleases them, and they will keep watching every porn there is. Secondly, even if you don't buy this contradiction, we don't buy why this new experience must be violent. There are many other ways to keep things up in bed. Let's say, give new timelines, give new big things that happen, like partying on a plane and not in a house, like do interesting things that do not involve violence. Do things with the new technologies that we do, like watching in 3D, watching in VR, all of those things are also going to keep you interesting. How do we know that this is the case? Because you don't see today people that watch porn that kills people, or even people that you punch them in the nose, because not everything new is something that people want to watch. But specifically the violence that is in porn today is something that people watch because of the thing that Amichay has analyzed but not got any rebuttal from the other side. Secondly, when they talk about how people will be ashamed because of it, because maybe they want to shape their body hair or maybe they like BDSM. So firstly, obviously you are going to have like all sorts of things within those feminist websites itself. Obviously there are going to be shaved women and unshaved women there, and nobody's going to be ashamed. But then you talk about like the people who really are outside of the norms of the society, let's say BDSM people, obviously they don't need and don't feel today that they have the approval of the government of doing the thing that they want. They are getting criticized a lot in school anyway. We don't see why this specifically is making a difference. Then they are saying that it's going to create like an expectation to you to doing all of the things that is happening there. This is extremely uncomparative. Because what we have told you is people today watch porn and get it as the main source of material to how to actually work in bed. That means that today people are not saying this is porn, this is not the reality, but actually think that the porn is the reality. Why is it much worse? Because we say that today the guy that watches the porn that for meant for guys is the only one that knows, and the women can't stop him because they don't feel that there is any information that exists to stop him, and probably he wants to do more things than the things that government talks about, even if we get that there is some sort of representation that is going to create. Thirdly, when they talk about the fact that people will laugh at the fact that this porn is feminist, this is very weird. Firstly, people don't know what sort of porn you are watching. This is not something that people talk about a lot, so you don't know how they will be laughed at. Secondly, we did explain how it will be cool with no engagement, like having celebrities saying like Beyonce going to TV and saying I watch this porn makes it think more cool. Having like the biggest actresses there is on those websites with the newest technology does make it cool. There is no engagement at that point. Thirdly, we say that this is also uncomparative because on their alternative there is no feminist porn. They say, I might watch feminist porn on the big websites without engaging with the fact that Amichay is analyzed why today when you go to the big websites you don't encounter those things. Therefore, even if you accept them, it is not worse than the status quo. Let's go to my point. Firstly, what sort of porn people will watch? So OG tells us that people will watch porn and it will be better. But all say two main things. Firstly, it is not going to compete with Pornhub. Secondly, even if they will start watching it, they will go to other things. Our case is specifically answering those things because firstly, when we talk about the competition against Pornhub, we uniquely tell you how we are going to make this thing really cool and people really connect to it. The fact that we do get a big start, the fact that we do get much more motion out of things that are considered cool, make those things much more relevant to more people. This means that especially for children who don't know how to choose and probably do go to like www.porn.com, if it will be a site that is a feminist site, they will only see our porn and not see any bad site at all. Then, okay, so let's answer that they will move to bad sites otherwise, because what we've told you is very important. On the status quo, people will start watching unviolent porn and then move to violence because it keeps popping to them. It's not because they like violence. Most of the people hate violence when they see it for the first time. Therefore, the process needs to be very slowly of getting to see the violent videos. When they go to our sites, when non-violent videos exist, they can't have the gateway porn to the worst porn because there isn't a worst porn and there isn't a process on our side of the house. Which means that on their side, all of the people are watching the worst kind of porn, but on our side, all of the people that go to our website, which is a lot of them, are watching only good porn and won't go to worst kind of porn. This is extremely important to all of the other points that we need to debate. Before I move on, I will take a second. No? First.
Okay. Please note, CG is debating subsidizing non-violent porn. This is not the definition we hear from OG about feminist porn, talking about female empowerment and that kind of stuff.
What we say is giving more emphasis to consent, giving more emphasis to not push the women's head on your dick, to give more emphasis to not try to do things that women don't like generally, is creating the best porn. And you explain why those things create violence in the real world after that, even if they are not violent, like you're not raping her in the porn video, but you are doing things that probably real women doesn't like. This leads me straight to my second point. Because OO tries to tell you that people don't care, they don't get any message when they watch porn. But what we have told you is extremely important is the fact that it does shape how you view your world. And it's not like OG told you that it makes you think that you should last longer or be bigger. It is much more important things. It is about the fact that you know, the only thing that you know about how sex should go is doing those things to your girlfriend that you have seen in those videos. And the girlfriend probably doesn't know what to say when she encounters those things. This is exactly what causing men to pressure women doing the things that women don't like to do. This is exactly what is causing violence within relationships. And it doesn't mean that everything like that is becoming great, but it does mean that everything that all of those things are making the women really uncomfortable, and the women can't handle it. How does it solve on our side of the house? Firstly, the fact that men are not exposed to those things means that they are not going to try those things. Secondly, the fact that women feel that now they have the information themselves and not the man has all the information. I have to go on because I don't know what sex is, because it means that women can tell the man the things that you are doing to me is wrong. Maybe it won't be perfect. Maybe CO tells you there are a few things that will still keep in our world that women don't want to do. But obviously the war things, the things that actually make people feel that their body is violated, that they do not control how sex is going, that everything that they are doing is very oppressive, are going to change because these are specifically the things that we are going to ban on our side of the house. Which means that the main thing that affects everyone, not only rape victims, is going to change because today there is a real oppression that happens in most relationships because men don't know what good sex is. Please support the motion. Thank you.
I'd like you to notice that all of the groups in the room, all of them agree that porn has an impact on how men view women and want a better world for women and how women have sex. Notice that, except for Stav, none of these groups talk about the actual effects on women themselves. They only talk about how this affects men's view and men's ability to view different things. They don't talk about women's ability to talk about these things, women's sexual liberation, and what women want and get from porn. So the major clash in this room is where women have better sexual experience, where there are better social norms towards women. Oju starts this out by talking about the fact that women today aren't a part of this discussion. They say that tomorrow there will be better servers and better, I don't know, all sorts of things that make it easier for people who already watch porn and are already part of the discussion to watch it. I don't understand why women are in that discussion at all. Stav talks about women's part in the discussion. No. Stav talks about women's part in the discussion today and their ability today to differentiate between porn and reality. Something governments just assume is that men and people who watch porn don't have the ability to differentiate between porn and reality. They think that's the only thing that happens, even though the government themselves says there will also be education systems. So I don't understand how that happens, how they can't differentiate it. Because people do know that porn isn't necessarily reality, or I don't know if any of these people has had a girlfriend before, but that's not how it works. Women today have the ability to say, no, your expectations are only from porn. They have the ability to be critical about it. They can say that is not how it actually works. What Stav explained to you is how tomorrow, because there's an entire branch of feminist porn that supposedly feminists should approve of, feminists should act in a certain way, now they can't be critical of that kind of porn. Stav also explains to you why, because a big part of porn is the sexual pleasure and the threshold that gets higher, maybe it won't be explicitly violent, but it will still have non-realistic expectations of women. It will still have consensual threesomes, consensual bondage. But now the expectation is for women to consent to this stuff. What if I don't want to consent to it? If it's in porn and you can differentiate between porn, I have the ability to say, no, that's different, that's porn and not real life. Tomorrow, when it's promoted as feminist porn, I can be less critical of it. Because if I'm criticizing feminist porn, I'm anti-feminist, I'm anti-woman, and my boyfriend can just come to me and say, but look, all these feminist people are doing it, and I have a lot less option to say, no. No. What else is going on here? Governments say, okay, I will take the POI from first half. Second half.
Yeah, in the world today, because men watch porn more than women, it is much harder for a woman to tell a man to stop because he knows more. After this motion, the most violent things are being stopped and women are empowered by more knowledge.
Okay, first of all, you're saying that just because one thing is promoted and subsidized, you said that there won't be anything else. I think people will always be able to pay more money for stuff they want to watch and stuff that they think turns them on. And if all is interesting is sexual pleasure, people will be willing to pay to watch the porn they want to watch because what's interesting to them is the sexual pleasure. So maybe some people will be also exposed to good porn, but even if that's true, I have explained to you why even being exposed to good porn isn't actually good for women, even though that's what men might think. Men will now have the idea that they know what women want and know what women should consent to and know what women should do, but women have less of the ability to say, no, that's not what I want. And that's what's actually important here, especially for people who are for consent. I will not be taking another POI. Sit. Where am I? Okay, sorry, okay. Notice that there was a lot of conversation about women not watching porn. Notice that now if a woman wants to watch porn, under this motion, she is also very, she has to watch a certain kind of porn. Now she can't be whatever she wants. Even if a woman does want to do all sorts of things, even though I don't think all women want to, even if she wants to, now she's labeled under a certain thing. If she's doing anything else that's not under the feminist porn, she is again anti-feminist. So either there is a very small group in the middle of women who are going to want to do exactly the kind of sex that's going to be shown in this porn. Most of them are going to be on one of either side. Either that's not exactly the kind of porn I want to do, but now I have less of the ability to say no to it, or I want to do different things, but now if I say I want to do different things, I'm anti-feminist. That's not what feminist women should have sex like. It's not what they look like. It's not what they should do. Okay. No. There's also, okay, the issue of whether porn will be watched or not watched. Notice that I said basically what the groups said about it. OG says that people are only going to watch the violent porn. We're showing you that even if people watch both kinds of porn, there is damage on both sides of this debate. Even if people are watching the good kind of porn, we're showing you that even watching the good kind of porn actually doesn't liberate women more, it just gives them less of a chance to not consent. No. To not consent. On the issue of subjects that are taboo and not talked about, again, we said about that it's, if it's true that subjects are taboo and not talked about, then again, everything you're learning is from porn, and what you're learning from this new kind of porn isn't necessarily good, it's just limiting women more. So, to sum it all up, what I'm telling you is the main question in the room is about women, how women are perceived in our society. What we showed you is that even under the motion, even if the good porn is being watched, the message that is received isn't the message that governments are trying to show you, it's a message that women have less of a right not to consent to this kind of porn. This kind of porn is now legitimized, everyone says you should be doing it, and women who don't want to be doing it can't say no to it. So we think that's the message that's going to be received, and opening up says this kind of porn isn't going to be watched at all, and we showed you why even if it is being watched, it's a bad effect, and for all those reasons I call on you to oppose.